someone else joined us. Who's 717-979-0065?
That's me, Julie.
Hi, Julie. It's
Hi,
Susan,
Julie.
Ellen, and Lori. Do you know how to record, Lori?
I did. It's recording now.
Yep, it's showing recording now.
I'm sorry
I
about
think you
that.
told the story really well. I mean, the main point is it's, people look at the exact same situation from
Very
different points of
differently.
view, and you want to find the people who are going to be excited about having people over, not dreading having people over.
Right.
And I really loved, and I have to get back to my notes, I loved that you said, I just need you to trust me because I speak from experience and I know what I'm telling you works. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes I just feel like I want to shake them and be like, I've been doing this 16 years. Would you just do what I say?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I talk to somebody and she always says to me, you just need to tell them, do you know who I am? I'm like, it's like, yeah, but I love the way you said that. I really love that wording. And are you doing a virtual, are you helping them with their virtual grand opening?
Yes.
I found I'm just doing the posting for them because it's set up and post my party. It's a click.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. And I feel like they can then focus on the comments and on getting people there and really not worrying about, I don't really pay attention to the show once I've set it up because they have to be the ones that pay attention to the comments and the responding. But if they don't have to figure out what to post every day, it makes it a lot easier. And then I'm like, just take all those posts and use them for your virtual parties. I don't care if they use my posts.
Right. Right.
So, Lori, do you use Post My Party also?
I don't. I use SendShare.
That's what I use too.
It's not.
I use both.
Do you?
Yeah, I started using both. And I have to tell you, when it comes to actually setting up a virtual party, I love Post My Party. It's so much easier. You create a template and you literally just plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
You can change like host names, and I haven't even explored like the full benefits of using Post My Party. But I still use SendShare because this is embarrassing. I haven't quite figured out if you can just post like individual things and don't have to do a template for Post My Party. So when I want to like post individual things on my team page, like every Monday morning, I post stats and I post recognition and I post like Monday motivation. I don't want to have to create a template for that every time.
Right.
So I'm honestly using both. And there are some advantages because like when I forget a post on my template, I don't have to redo the template, or if I want to change something, or if a post doesn't go through, I can just cinch it real quick. So, I mean, I'm paying double, but in a way it's worth it. I don't know if I'm going to ever get rid of one or the other because I kind of like having both of them.
Do you? I've toyed around with that idea, but since they've started doing the batch posting, that's how I set up their party. I mean, yes, I have to duplicate. I just go into another one and duplicate the event.
Don't you have to change the time every time though?
You can, when you do a batch post, you go in and like say I have, one day's whole post ready. I'll have them start at like 8 a.m. and you can either keep the same time schedule that you used, or you just plug in what you want. Like, do you want it every 2 hours, or do you want it every 30?
I might have upgraded that because when I started using the batch posting, it was a little challenging because even if I said use this interval, I wasn't doing a 1 hour party. So it was
I don't even know about the batch posting. I just schedule for when
you just go back to your old parties and you pick the ones you want and you can do them, I think I've just stuck with, again, because it's what I started with first.
Right.
But I use it for my team page a lot, and I use it on my business page, and it's just easier for me. And I know it's just what I know right now.
So Lori, do you treat your new consultant virtual parties, their grand openings, like Susan? Do you just schedule them and then you're kind of hands off, or do you?
Well, I'll do the host coaching. I'm really trying to work on my virtual host coaching. And so I will coach them as a host, and I'll tell them, this is what you're going to do with your host, and I want you to feel what it's like to be a host. And so I do that with the messaging. That's one thing I wish SendShare did, was you could schedule messages. That would make life so easy.
Do you have those messages or your host coaching in something that you would share with us?
Yeah, I've got one I put together. I need to adapt it. I wish I could think of her name. There's somebody who posted this great host coaching YouTube.
Was that the one that Sharon Zellen was sharing with all of us?
No, it was, I can't think of her name. I don't know her. But she did this YouTube on host coaching and how she has this checklist to a $1,200 party.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll just share the YouTube and I'll share what I have. I just haven't meshed them yet. I've kind of been, sometimes I'll just create and send share, do you know what I mean, or whatever. So I will post mine that I put together and then that YouTube, because that YouTube training was really good.
Okay. And that's all for virtuals?
Yeah, because
Okay.
she calls her host and goes over that whole checklist. And so I'm trying to get that integrated with them too. And she also, of course, the whole full service checkout at the end, she calls them and talks to them. So
I'm trying to put together like a document of what I do and what I say, because I have some virtual host coaching things and I do coach. I don't want to make it sound like the new people. I just am like, set up, deal with it, you know.
Oh no, I know.
But I'm trying to put together, rather than having to recreate it every time I have a bunch of virtuals going on,
Right.
you know, what I send to them, what I want them to post. And right now I private message them, but do any of you set up a group where you put all your hosts in one group?
You know, I'll be honest. I tried it once and it flopped and it just deflated me. I need to do it again because I know you can't just try something once, but.
Right. I was a little uncomfortable with the idea of like putting all my virtual hosts in a group, and I felt like I want them to feel like I'm working with them individually and specially. So I just private message them, but if I could have the private messages, you know, set up in a document, I could just cut and paste.
Right.
And I'm sort of recreating them every time, which I don't know. I find virtual shows, like I have like 6 going on right now at the same time, and it's like they take a lot of work.
They do. They do.
I'd rather go out for a cooking show than do a virtual party.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm starting to change mine. I've been, I subscribe to the $1 Million Party Girl. Have you guys ever heard of her?
No.
She works for Party Lights. Like she's still a consultant for them, but she's got this whole consulting business. And so I've been trying to do what she does, and it's like a one-day party. Like you have all your pre-posts leading up, but then you have some posts that day, and then you just do a live demonstration during that 1 hour, and then you follow up like you normally would. Like you have a Google Doc that you send them that they fill out. There's a door prize drawing slip. There's opportunity for them to book shows. So I've been doing that. I've been trying to do more live. I've been scared of this whole Facebook jail stuff, so I'm trying different stuff.
You know, it's interesting because I did a team reveal. I did a virtual spring reveal, new spring product reveal for my team, and we debated if we should do live. And we ended up not doing live because we just felt like we had so much stuff. It was just going to be, you know, too convoluted. But I did post videos like about the products, and I uploaded them all to YouTube so I can see how many people viewed them. Not that people are really viewing them. Not that many people are really viewing them. And I just wonder, you know, with live, are people really going back and watching it?
I can tell you, I'm doing a party now. I'm just playing around with it. So I did like, my party was Thursday, and I did the big thing. I did the zucchini bruschetta pasta thing. And then I'm doing some posts. I did some throughout the weekend, but Friday I did that silly egg cooker with the chocolate cake in it.
Oh, yeah?
And so since I'm doing my parties from my business page, they're public. But most time, whenever I post something, nobody ever comments anything.
Really?
Well, I could see them watching me that weren't invited to the party. And then I started getting comments. I thought, I'll just share this to my page. I mean, I've sold over 30 egg cookers.
Wow. Where is the recipe for that little chocolate cake?
It's on Consultant's Corner. If you just type in ceramic egg cooker and then click on the recipes, it brings them all up. But it's so easy. And it didn't even turn out right. It was so flat. It broke when I was trying to take it out. But they liked it.
Yeah,
and
I just made an egg in mine.
I don't care. It's a mini chocolate cake.
I know. It was crazy.
I was just thinking I was going to go live, but I was like, I'm just throwing this in here, and I don't even know. I haven't followed any directions. I'm just trying to make myself lunch and just trying to use this. But yeah, a lot of people are selling a ton of those, and I was thinking of like, if you go live on your home page, can you then share that to your events?
I think so.
That's what I was thinking of doing.
Because I shared it from that. I actually shared it from my event, which is from my business page to my personal wall, and it showed up.
How long does the mug cake take?
45, you do
Okay.
30 seconds, stir it, 45 seconds, and that's it.
Okay, because that's a good one. Because I was like, well, if I'm making an omelet and it takes like 2 minutes, I don't want to be sitting here for 2 minutes.
Right. Well, what I did was when I threw it in for the 45 seconds, I made whipped cream during that time.
That
Oh.
sounds good.
So I don't know. I'm just trying different things. This time it's working. Maybe, it could be just because it's something new.
So what is anybody else doing anything different for new consultant training? I am also following Stacy's, the script that is on the Strong Start program that's on PCU. And actually one of the things I love the most about it is the wording. I call them the magic words, where the script is, I'm so excited because I thought of you because.
Right.
Really big goal for my first 30 days of, and what do you think? Would you grab a few friends on Facebook and let me do one of my first cooking parties for you? And when the new consultants follow those words, it works. And I'm trying to use them also, not just for my new consultants, but for my team members when they're struggling with bookings.
Right.
Saying, these are words you should use. And what's hard is that sometimes consultants who are having trouble booking shows, I give them the words and I say, that's what you want to say. And then I say, okay, let's practice. And then we practice a phone call and they're like throwing in other stuff. And I'm like, just stick to the script. Really. Just stick to that script. You don't want to add other words. These are going to work.
That is something, when we're doing that, going over those scripts, I kind of preface it and say, a lot of times when you're new, you get excited and you want to share everything and you throw up all over people.
Right.
And so I really try to kind of make it kind of graphic and gross so that they see that, people don't like that they get overwhelmed. So I try to deal with that even before the scripts.
So when you guys are doing your new consultant training, are you also adopting Stacy's philosophy as far as like the actual cooking shows? Do you go with them or do you have them come to a couple of your parties?
I'm trying to transition to have them come to mine. I've been going but not doing.
Okay.
Or if I do, I'll do the ticket activity. That seems to be their biggest hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't mind doing that so they can see how it runs. But I wanted to have them start coming to mine.
They come to my shows and they come to recipe night, and I can give them a script, but I don't go to their shows.
I do. That's how I do my recipe nights. It's a cooking show. So we do have somebody who does the opening, we go in complete show mode for recipe night.
Okay. I think that was a big thing that held me back from recruiting for a long time too, is I just didn't have anywhere that I could put shows and go to their shows.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Stacy mentioned that last summer at conference, that she doesn't, that they go to hers. And my other thing is too, as a seasoned consultant, it's hard not to jump in on them and be like, you really have to hold yourself back. I know there's a lot that I still need to improve with my show, but still you're like, oh my gosh. So I think if you're not there, they're learning on their own and they're, but then you do the follow-up calls and see how things went and what they're struggling with. So.
And nobody came to my show.
No.
So I don't know why we feel the need. This is one thing I've noticed, and I struggle with it. I've got up and coming leaders who are struggling with it, is we tend to want to parent our team instead of letting them be independent. So I am really trying to work on that.
I also, I had a conversation with Lisa Hendrickson about this, and she said, you really need to tell new consultants, and it's true, your friends are going to respond to you better if I'm not there. You're going to have more success at that show if I am not there. They need to, and I always said, they need to look at you as the expert. Because if I'm there, they look at, me as the expert, and you're looking at me as the expert, and you're not, figuring it out on your own. And the truth is that I have gone to new consultant shows, and sometimes they'll say, please, will you come with me? And if I can, I will. But sometimes I end up I mean, it's painful sometimes, and especially when I've really coached them, really coached them, and they're not doing what I told them to do, and it's even more painful. And, you know, sometimes it's hard not to jump in, and it's also challenging just to, you know, it would be easier just to coach them after rather than, you know, be there and see it all happening.
Right.
So I wanted to pick your brains a little bit on that. So when you guys are doing this program with your new consultants, I'm great about the first call, and then it seems to be a struggle after that. We can't seem to get our times to mesh, or they haven't done what they were supposed to do, and that kind of stuff. So my first question would be, do you guys have certain days of the week where you are working on new consultant stuff, or do you just put it where they can do it? Because I'm struggling. Most of mine work during the day, and I'm home during the day, but evenings are bad for me. We have something pretty much every evening, and if not, I'm at a show or weekends or whatever. So for me, during the day is better, but if they're working, and I've tried asking about lunches, but I can't seem to get much commitment there. So what do you guys suggest? What are things that you've tried, or are you finding the same issues?
That's funny you brought that up, because I just had that issue this weekend, trying to coordinate with the recruiter and her recruit. And it was just turning into a mess. So I finally like, we're going to have to do this on my schedule. And I am now starting to set, these are days that are available, pick one. I was really trying to follow the whole timetable that Stacy had laid out. You know, get this done in 48 hours, do this within the next 24 hours. And it wasn't working. And then they just fell through. So I'm going to start, I have another director, the two of us, we're going to rotate. Like, you know, I can do one day this week, she can do the other, and we'll just take each other's people. But it's just too hard. It leaves no time for your personal business if you're constantly doing that.
Yeah, I almost thought about doing recordings, but I don't know how that would work either. You know what I mean? I'm not good at recording stuff. So
the hard thing is that first call is about establishing rapport, and actually some people aren't doing any training on that first call. They're really taking that opportunity to dig into their why. And
right.
So if you're doing it as a recording, you know, you're not getting that personal connection at all.
Right.
And I do agree. It's hard. I mean, I don't have certain days that I do only new consultant calls, but I have to set boundaries better and just say, like, this is when I'm available, you know, you need to pick one of my times. And I actually did that, not so much for new consultant training, but I was leading sort of like a 6 weeks to success training call.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, I'm absolutely not, you know, squeezing these in places that I don't want to be having calls. And I knew I had people who worked full time, but I said, this is what's available. Pick your time. Mm-hmm. And not one of them came back to me and said, oh, I can't do any of those.
Right.
Actually, one person came back and we just kind of figured it out. But I was like, I'm not doing these Mondays. I'm not doing these Fridays. And, you know, I didn't say that, but I said, these are the times, pick your time slot. And it worked out. So I think sometimes we are so worried about not being able to fit them in. And the truth is, you know, even people who are at work, you know, if they had to call a doctor, they would figure out a way to get 5 minutes and call the doctor. Or, you know, if their kid's school, if they needed to make a phone call to their kid's school, they would figure it out. So
that was sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say that was a real eye-opener for me on that last Coffee Talk call when Brenda Coffey was talking about that. And I thought, you know, that's right. I mean, we've got to make it fit our schedule because I am not going to burn out. I think that has been probably my biggest hesitation. I mean, the biggest thing for me with Lead Plus was realizing I could do more than I thought I could. I was never an 8-show person. Now it's like, okay, 8 shows. I can do it. I'm not worried about it. So that really gave me that confidence. But I've also heard, you know, executive leaders talk about how much time they put in. And, you know, and some are saying, well, you know, we're up till 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, I don't want that. And so when Brenda said that, that was a real eye-opener for it. It made me realize that you can do what you want to do on your timetable. You just need to set those standards, like you were saying, Susan, but you
Well, I
have
think
to do it.
the bottom line is that the ones who want it will work around your schedule.
Right.
Or they will be so, they will really be saying, look, I really want to find time that you're going to be willing to bend a little when someone is
Right.
eager.
Yeah.
The ones who don't want it, they're not going to do it anyway. And I mean, it's a hard balance because, you want these people to qualify. You want your points, you want your,
Right.
30 Pampered Chef dollars, whatever we get for them. So it's like, but on the other hand, it's like, I cannot be chasing people down. It's just too exhausting.
Right.
I give everybody the same great opportunities. It's up to them to take advantage of it. I can't make them do it.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be, if this is a priority for them and if they really want to make this work, they're going to put in the time and work with you.
And that's why I think that first call is so important, because if you can say to them, hey, I know you really wanted to earn some money for X, Y, or Z, let me help you do that. Like, have you changed that goal? Are you still wanting to do that? And the people who say to me like, oh, I don't know, I just want some free products, or I don't know, those are the ones who are just, they're giving up, or they're just not willing to put in the time, or unless it like takes off immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not following up.
And that is a good point about that first call. Because I had somebody who said, I just don't know if I can fit it in, blah, blah, blah. And I just took her right back to it. And I said, do you still want to buy that land and build your house?
Right.
She said, well, I just don't know if I can. I said, really, this is a yes or no answer. Do you want it or do you not want it? And she said she did. And that was the whole, you got to trust me. And we talked about scheduling. Well, now she's texted me every day. I mean, I worked, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. She'll never be a superstar yet. She could be, but right now she's just,
don't judge.
Yeah. And what I mean is she's very timid. She's not going to go out and do 6 shows, but for her to do 1 show a month right now, that's really good for her. And so that's what I mean by that.
Julie, is there anything you want to add or you want to ask? We don't want to leave you out just because we can't see you.
Oh, no problem. Well, I think I've been struggling with getting consultants back on another call. And I think it's just because of my own schedule too. I'm like a hunter. Once I get them, it's like, okay, I got my recruit and next. So I do the 1 call, and if they don't reach out to me, like I don't make the effort to reach out to them. And, like, of course, I invite them to team meetings and everything. But if they don't make the effort to try and, watch one of my shows or to give me a call back with any questions they have, I'm just not really great with the follow-up. So
I think, though, it's also, it's hard after that first call if they don't start booking shows. It's like you sort of have nothing to talk about. But I've actually talked to Stacy about this, and she said, she doesn't talk to them like 16 times before their first show. Like, until they have a show, there is really nothing to talk to them about. Like, they can, if they don't do what you give them to do on that first call, you give it to them on the second. And if they don't give it to them on the second, you give it to them on the third. Until they get out there and book shows, you can't really do anything for them.
Yeah, and what I'm really hoping that home office is going to do more for us, and I think that it sounds like they're coming out with something like this, is I personally would like home office to be more involved with the step-by-step, sending the email, training them. Not that, I don't know. I don't know. And that's the biggest thing that I struggle with is, each person owns their own business, and, no one helped me do an intro show, and it's not like my director wasn't there for me, but I just feel like they need some kind of accountability themselves to reach out to me when they need help too. Because, and everybody has busy schedules. I do too, just as much as they probably do. But I guess I'm just tired of trying to hunt people down and set in the time, and then they don't dial in, and it frustrates me to the point where it's just like, okay, I'm going to do one call with them and then leave the ball in their court.
So how do we communicate to them in a, positive way? The people who are most successful in this business are go-getters. Like the people who are most successful in this business take initiative, and they're not waiting for somebody to tell them the next step. Like how do we communicate to our new team members and in a way that makes them excited to be the go-getter?
That's a
like,
good
I think
question.
setting the expectation to come to the monthly team meeting is huge too. Sometimes I'm driving an hour to go do a show. Well, if they're not willing to make the same effort back and drive an hour to come to the team meeting, it's kind of got to go both ways. And I think getting them to the team meetings is huge for the success.
Yeah, I agree. I think when they bond with other people, they feel connected and they're not just reliant on you.
One of the ways I feel like we do that is kind of by encouraging them to go to national conference. These are the go-getters that are up on stage. These are the people that have really, worked for this business, or, the ones that have earned the trips. And, does that work for everybody? It still doesn't always motivate and work for everybody, but I think that's just another way. But that doesn't help them as a new consultant either. That's where we really got to get them. I think, finding the right words to communicate that.
Anybody have any other questions or anything to share? Lori had to jump off. You probably all saw. So if we were to put it together like an outline of what we really felt like needed to take place for new consultants, like what would we put first? What would we put second? What would we put third? I think I would say that, first call, getting to know them is really important first.
I was going to say, I think I probably need to focus on that more when I'm doing that first call. I do some of it, but then I kind of move on. I work with them on their launch list. I write down the names of people as, we go through the launch list. So that way I have, well, how did it go when you spoke with, Susan, or how was it when you talked to Lori? What did they say? And I have them pick, 3 or 4 people. Well, tell me about, so-and-so. Do they like to cook? Do they like to entertain? Are they really busy? That way we can pick those right words that you were talking about, Susan. I thought of you because you love to cook. And so, or I thought of you because you love to entertain. Or the ones that really don't, that last one, I just forgot what it is that's on there. Or no, the third one, like about I have a really big goal. So sometimes they're willing to help you even though they don't really like to cook or entertain or those other things that you feel for. So I feel like I spend a lot more time on that than I do on their why, which maybe is the wrong way to approach it. So I think, definitely really building that rapport and digging a little deep, really being able to go back to that why would be probably number 1.
Yeah. And then I think what you're saying, though, number 2 has to be teaching them how to book shows, who to ask, what to say. And then just getting them to jump in there. I think that the grand opening, doing a virtual grand opening, encourage them to do their own grand opening. The sooner they get started, the sooner they're going to, be successful. The sooner they taste success, the more likely they're going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And getting them to come observe a show, getting them to come to a team meeting. Is there anything we're forgetting that we need them to do?
Interact on the team page.
I feel like all the little checklist things, like they're going to happen, like setting up their account, doing all that. They'll learn because they have to. Right. But until they have shows, nothing else really matters.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I really think trying to focus on that, getting the shows on the schedule. My dilemma with my last 2 have been that they had a show and then decided to join. So when I bring up the whole grand opening, I get a lot of pushback because they're like, well, I just did a party. I'm like, I know, but think of all those friends that couldn't make it. But now they'll really want to be there because it's your party. You're not doing it for me now, you're doing it for you. So I try to put a different spin on it. But how do you guys handle that if they sign up after their party and then you're trying to get them to do a grand opening?
Well, one of the things
I just tell them that they need to do it as a practice show. Like they need to practice how to do recipes, and it's way easier to do it in front of their own friends.
That's great. Yeah.
I think I also tell them that there's a lot of people. I mean, if they had 15 people at their show and they invited 40, there's still 35 people that couldn't come. So they can certainly reach out to those people and do a party for them. And they can also, invite the people who did come, because they're going to want more things.
Right.
And they'll be wanting to support them. And that's also why I encourage the virtual show, because then they're going to have a group to reach out to that's way beyond, the parameters of where they live.
Right. I like the one answer, because even if I have people go, well, so she just had a show and all my friends are here. And I go, well, but that's okay, because their list is longer than you think it is. So it's okay to book a show for next month,
Right. And, yeah, exactly. I mean, people book shows and then they go to 3 shows in a row and they learn, just do a different recipe.
Yeah.
They're going to see different tools and they're going to want to support you.
Right.
As the new consultant.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we're the ones who are hesitant to say, oh, I know you just had a show, so you might not want to have another one. But you know what? That's okay. And they don't have to do a grand opening show right away. I mean, if they can book 4 other shows, great. And maybe that's the way to approach it. Look, if you can book 6 other shows, great. But if you're finding you can't get 6 other shows, then do your grand opening.
Well, my most recent one, she signed the last day of February, and I told her, I said, it's a great time to have a grand opening because we got a brand new catalog coming out tomorrow.
Now it's a new one with the new products coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the steps, would be to focus on their why, to help them get those shows booked, and then really it's just kind of waiting until they do that, so you have more to discuss.
Right. Anything else anyone wants to share or ask? Does anyone have their team meeting tonight or tomorrow night?
Ours is next week.
Yeah, I have it tomorrow night.
Okay, I have mine tonight.
Can I ask what you guys, if you guys are making any new recipes at your March shows, or what are you doing?
I haven't started making any new recipes. We're doing our taste testing tonight at the team meeting. So we're going to, everybody's bringing a new recipe and we're, going to see what people like. And then I guess I wanted to see if I can incorporate some of the current the tools into my current recipes. And I haven't really found a way to incorporate them. Although, I mean, it's the same thing sort of as the popcorn popper last season. I popped popcorn in every single show. But it doesn't, not because popcorn was part of the recipe. So I may be making eggs or mug cakes at every show, regardless of whether or not, it's part of the recipe.
The only one I think would be kind of easy or easier to incorporate, depending on the recipes you're doing, would be the multi-grater and slicer. But I'm really paranoid to take it to other places, because if it's popping off the countertops.
Right.
And, when I first sectioned it on without using it, I was like, there's no way this thing is moving. And then I started using it and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody was right. I thought, oh, all these people that are having trouble with it, there's just something wrong with them. And then I used it and I was like, okay, you start using it. And it's almost like the pressure pushes down on that suction and then it causes it to release.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, try it.
Me neither.
Yeah, try it.
I have someone bringing it to the meeting tonight, and I'm just bringing some potatoes and some radishes, but I don't even know how to use it.
Yeah, I only did the cheese. I grated the pepper jack cheese. I made the Mexican street corn dip. I did a product reveal on Friday at my house, and I had about 10 people come. I was hoping for more, but I got my invite out late. But we made the Mexican street corn salsa. Oh my gosh, that is so good.
I was thinking of doing that, but I didn't want to have to grill any corn.
You know what I did? So I told him, I said, I didn't buy corn on the cob. So I used frozen corn and I just put it on the new little
grill stone?
Yeah.
What a great idea.
I spritzed it and I put the corn on there and I seasoned it with the chili powder like it says. And then off to the side, because you're supposed to grill the onion, I sliced the onion and I grilled that and the jalapeno.
On the little grill stone.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea, because you could even probably use that on a burner.
Yeah.
So
that's what I did
under the broiler at their house. But that's a great idea, because I was like, oh, I don't want to make that one.
Oh, but they loved it. They were like, that is so good. So I may be switching that to my wine, cheese, and chocolate parties.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Just to update a recipe and, try to incorporate some of the new products. But again, I'm really hesitant about and even the herb mill, I've been struggling with that guy. It does not work on basil.
I'm having trouble with basil too. They say it has to be really dry, but my basil must just never be dry.
Yeah, I tried it the other day at a show and I was like, okay, well, it works really well on cilantro.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen. I was like, this is not working at all.
So then I just moved back to my good old kitchen shears in the prep bowl and
did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I did make that skinny Caesar salad or whatever it's called, except I left out the anchovy paste and I used capers because I wouldn't use anchovies, and then I didn't use Worcestershire sauce either. I used the first time I used soy sauce, but I found a Worcestershire sauce that doesn't have anchovies in it either. So that was good, but it's not like it uses any of the new tools.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just don't know how often I will bring the indoor-outdoor grill to a party. What about you guys?
I'm not bringing it.
I've been carrying the base, the slow cooker base, and just sticking the rock crock in at the end. But
yeah,
I just have to have time to get out the products. We've been doing some renovations in my house, and it's like I have not had any time. Oh, she's back.
Hi.
That was
quick. I live by the school.
Okay, I haven't had any time to I have no place to put the boxes, to take things out. So I have to get out my products and play with them.
Yeah. I saw someone's post, I think it was on the Director Success, how are you guys bringing all these new products to your shows when they're so big this time? And I'm like, right. Yeah, I'm not. The catalog, we always tell our consultants, the catalog sells them for us. So I'm just trying to kind of rely on that. But
right.
Yeah, the egg cooker might be the thing I do with the cakes, and that's probably about it. Right.
I'll have to stop making whipped cream and popcorn because I've been making that every month. But it might be time to stop making I could make whipped cream and put it on my little mug cake.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a recipe. I know I'm walking in on the middle of this, but they made a movie theater cake.
Ooh, what's that?
It's like a chocolate cake, and then they put caramel on it, and then they pop popcorn and put on top of it. And something else on top of that.
Where is that? Oh my gosh.
I saved the post. You know what? I'm starting to see so much stuff. I'm just saving them now and going back and finding them later because there's too much stuff out there.
Yeah.
So I thought that looked really good. That'd be something fun to do.
So Lori, what we were asking is, are you incorporating any of the new products or doing new recipes that are incorporating the new products into your shows now that it's March?
The slow cooker stand. Have you guys done the mudslide brownie?
No.
You take a family size brownie mix and you mix it up according to the box, and then you add one egg, an extra egg. And then you take 7 scoops of peanut butter and just dollop it across the top, and you microwave it for 5.5 minutes. And it looks, it's a brownie on top, then you break into it and there's all this chocolate melty stuff and all the peanut butter. And so I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to make it as it's going to be ready when the guests get there. And then keep it in the slow cooker stand.
That sounds really good. Is there anything you could do in place of peanut butter in case there's peanut allergies? Do you know?
I'm sure you could just do the lava cake.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was wondering. Do that instead.
Yeah. Just something that keeps it hot. And they smell it when they walk in the door.
Yeah. I've been loving the slow cooker. It does get much hotter, though, than a crock pot.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
And it is hot to the touch because I've just used it as a warmer at shows, and it's like, oh, that's hot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of our other products. I don't know that I'll be bringing the, I almost called them the woven selections. That's from a long time ago.
The wicker.
Yeah.
I might, if it's an outdoor party, just to put napkins and serving utensils in.
You might be able to bring just one of the little ones just to show them the quality.
Yeah.
It's hard though. It's like, I want to bring everything. I want them to see the kids stuff. I want them to see, there's a lot of new stuff and it's not little.
I love the kids stuff, but I still have kids that are in that age. So I just love the kids stuff.
But you could take your baker and do a mini lava cake or something in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good one.
So, I mean, that wouldn't be too heavy.
When I did my reveal the other night, I brought out the kids set first, and I was so excited. My daughter was so excited. She loves the color of the apron and all that. But anyways, I brought out the mini deep covered baker, and they're like, that would be so nice if we could just get the baker by itself. And I said, well, you are in luck because you can. And they all went, but we want the orange. I'm like, well, then you'll have to buy the kids set and get all the other goodies too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to jump off because I have my team meeting tonight and I have to make a recipe. So I don't know if you guys are ready to end things.
That's good.
Yeah, I have to go too.
So,
all right.
So our next call is in a month. So we need somebody to volunteer to facilitate and to pick a topic. And Lori, are you going to post the recording?
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay. How do you do that, by the way? I don't know how to do that.
I've never recorded before, so I'm just assuming it's going to give me an option to save it.
What it's going to do is it's going to say that, when you leave the meeting, it's going to say your file has to be converted unless you did it to iCloud. But if you did it to your computer, it says the file has to be converted, and then you have to go to YouTube and upload it to YouTube. And the hardest thing I always have is figuring out where it is, but it's under documents on my computer. It somehow saves it to documents, which is weird. Like I would never think of looking for a video recording under documents, and then you just, usually mine says Zoom-O, and then you have to retitle it.
So do I
find it by the date?
Do I stop the recording before I end the meeting?
You can, yeah.
And it'll ask me that then too?
It won't ask you that until you log off and you leave the meeting. And then the file needs to be converted.
All right. I will do my best, guys.
Let me know if you know how to do it. Let me know if you need help.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, ladies. It's been a pleasure.
Susan, I'll message you again also to see when you're free.
Message me tomorrow because since I my team meeting, I won't see it and then I won't even. So, and it'll get lost. So thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.